the 16th or something when we finally got a tree. So I was like, no, we got to put it on the schedule to get it done. And my kids, Rachel and the girls, did a great job last night decorating. And so it looks very nice. And so I'm glad to have that done. Very festive. And I know that Brother Saladin, I talked to him, he wants to have a Christmas party like we used to do. And so we will probably do that upcoming. But for this activity, let me pull out my notes real quick. For this activity, I wanted us to do something different. And I was trying to look up something that I thought would be fun and very Christmassy as well. You know, I feel like you only get out of something what you put into something. You know, and that's kind of how I feel about the Christmas season or any season, really. You know, there are some people who, well, I heard somebody say disparaging remarks about Thanksgiving, but I always like Thanksgiving for what it does to me, what it puts in perspective on how the Lord wants us to think, but I also like it for the patriotic and historical background. Like, I made my kids do this. We were driving from our house to Lawton, and my nieces were in the car, and those of you who know me, who have known me for a long time, I'm a huge fan of Rush Limbaugh, and he used to do a 30-minute dissertation on the true story of Thanksgiving, what it actually means, not giving thanks to the Indians. They were actually giving thanks to God for how bountiful he's blessed them after they had gone through the winter where I think it was, 60% of them died or 40%? A huge percentage of them died that first year. And so he tells that story, and I made everybody in the car listen to it on the way to Lawton. But they all did pretty good. They were quiet and paid attention. But I like it for that reason. Same thing for Thanksgiving. You get out of it what you put into something. And so this year, we're going to go to the Chickasha's Festival of Lights. Has anybody been there? Okay. Maybe you've been there. Well, it's free. It's a drive-through, and it's very nice, and they say, it's very well-known apparently in Oklahoma. So what I'd like to do is, it has to be dark, so that's why I was like, well, let's just do Friday, so that way if we stay out late, then we have Saturday to sleep in. But we'll leave the church between 6:30, 6:35, because it takes about 45 minutes to get there. It's a drive-through event, but go ahead and dress. It's not going to be super cold. I think it's going to be in the 50s, maybe in the 40s by the time the sun goes down. But there will be places to stop. We'll get coffee or hot chocolate or something, and then we'll find some food afterwards. But there's no cost to the event itself. And to drive through, I'm going to bring my whole family. And so that'll be an activity this Friday. And we'll probably have only maybe 2 activities in December just because of, we're going to be gone for Christmas. I'm sure a bunch of you maybe many other people will be gone for Christmas. So this will be one of them. And then if we don't do an activity like a Christmas party, maybe we'll do a New Year's party, before at the end of the year. And so I just wanted to mention those things. So that's the activity. So you can't say I didn't email you because I've already emailed you. And if you didn't get it, let me know. But I think I included everybody on there. I should have done that right. And then Thursday is caroling. And I'm sorry that I wasn't there. I appreciate Sarah helping out, getting my kids there. And I stole Daniel and Megan from being there so we could go. But I had 4 tickets. And it was, to me, for a sports fan, it was probably one of my last opportunities to ever get to see some of the players, so I did do that. But I felt bad missing Mrs. Freeman, so I might have to go by and say hello to her. But I hope you guys had fun. But we will do caroling this Thursday. I'm lining up where we're going to go. I've already talked to several people, but I need to make sure that it works out. So we'll do caroling this Thursday as well, and then the following Thursday. And then after that, it'll be Christmas, so we won't have it, and it'll be the week after that, which I'm not sure. It might be New Year's, so we might not have Thursday night for those 2. So we pretty much have 2 more left this year, and we'll do caroling both of those. But I wanted to remind you, if you could come. It's always nice when you have many carolers. When you only have 1 caroler, 5 carolers, it's not the same as when you have 20 carolers. So it's a blessing. Let's be a blessing to the older people in our church. I think it's an opportunity, and so that'll be this Thursday night. All right. Those are all the announcements, and we are going to continue on. I do have to mention something last week where I was, those of you how many of you get up in front of people to speak, or kids to speak? 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, those of you who speak all the time, how many of you have ever made a mistake when you get up in front of people? There you go. Right? Rachel has never made a mistake when you get up. Wow. I was like, man, I wish I could do that. No, but that's one of the things. And anybody who's a pastor who preaches, you know what? I'm sure they would tell you the same thing. It's especially people who get up all the time. You make mistakes sometimes. Well, last week I kind of got ahead of myself, or I didn't have it as well prepared, but I'll just give you my excuse, okay? I know there's no excuses, so it's my fault. But I wanted to go through it this week. But last week, my family was in town. We had a bunch of people, all my nieces and their families were spending that at our house. And Brother Van Manning flew in at midnight, Saturday night. And then Saturday, if you remember, it started to get icy. And so I went out there and I was driving him home and I was trying to be really careful. And we were going across Oklahoma Avenue and I felt the car slide down, because if you ever drive on Oklahoma Avenue, it's one of the worst to drive on during ice because it's a high bridge that spans like, I don't know, a mile. And so that Brother Van Manen told me, he said that's probably one of the worst roads if it gets icy. So it's something for you guys who are drivers to pay attention to. But so then my nieces were sleeping in the den where my office is. So I'm trying to get everything ready and I'm trying not to wake them up. And so I thought, I'm going to go over part of this again this morning. And it's fine because it sets up the whole chapter. So if you would go ahead and turn to 2 Peter chapter 2. And we will cover the new lesson. Now, I have missed a lesson in listening. I was talking to you guys in what Brother Saladin went over when I was gone to Cuba. And then what we went over last week was the Thanksgiving lesson. I finished up the Thanksgiving lesson. So I did the first half and the second half, like part 1, part 2. We're going to do